Imagine a king so mighty that he thought himself above all other men. He ruled vast lands with an iron fist and commanded armies that stretched as far as the eye could see. His wealth was unmatched, his influence absolute. And yet what set him apart from any ordinary ruler was his arrogance. He did not merely see himself as a king, but declared himself a god, expecting his people to worship him and recognize his supposed divinity. In a world where power was measured by fear and obedience, Nimrod stood unrivaled. Yet within his kingdom arose a man of remarkable courage and faith, Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, who rejected all forms of idolatry and taught the worship of Allah alone. His words challenged not just the beliefs of the people, but also the very authority of Nimrod. This confrontation between a tyrant and a prophet would become a story that generations would remember and recount with awe and reflection. Nimrod's kingdom was one of immense wealth and sophistication, but it was built upon fear and submission. The people were compelled to honor him not for wisdom or justice, but because refusal meant punishment and sometimes death. He claimed that his power was unmatched and that no god could stand above him. This assertion was not taken lightly, as he sought to demonstrate it at every opportunity. Yet Ibrahim stood in stark contrast to this tyranny. He walked openly among the people, teaching them about the oneness of Allah, warning them of the futility of worshipping idols, and the danger of submitting to false authority. His courage was remarkable, for he knew the consequences that awaited anyone who opposed Nimrod. The prophet's faith was unwavering, and he refused to bow to the king or to his idols. The tension between Nimrod and Ibrahim grew until it could no longer be contained. Nimrod summoned Ibrahim to his court, demanding an explanation for his teachings. The king's voice was laced with arrogance as he asked the prophet whose God was greater. Ibrahim replied calmly that Allah is the creator of the heavens and the earth, and that all power ultimately belongs to him. Nimrod could not understand such words. His mind was filled with pride, and he saw no deity greater than himself. He questioned Ibrahim further, attempting to assert his superiority by asking if his God could save him from Nimrod's wrath. Ibrahim responded that Allah's wisdom and power surpassed human understanding, and that faith is proven through patience and obedience rather than by tests of force. This response enraged Nimrod, for it refused to acknowledge his supposed divinity, and the challenge to his authority became personal. Seeking to assert his power and to demonstrate the futility of opposing him, Nimrod prepared a test of fire. The king commanded that a massive pyre be constructed, a fire so intense that nothing placed within it could survive. His soldiers obeyed without question, and Ibrahim was brought forward, bound and unarmed. The tension was palpable as all who witnessed this moment feared for the prophet's life. They watched as the flames roared, ready to consume everything in their path. It was at this moment that the courage and faith of Ibrahim shone bright. He did not flinch, nor did he plead for mercy. His heart remained steadfast, trusting entirely in Allah's protection. As the fire blazed around him, a miraculous occurrence unfolded. The flames enveloped Ibrahim, but did not burn him. They surrounded him with warmth and light, yet his body and clothes remained untouched. Those who witnessed this moment were astonished. Some began to question their understanding of power and authority, realizing that even the mightiest king could not prevail against divine will. Nimrod himself was struck by fear and confusion for the first time in his life. He had believed that human strength and wealth could rival any force. Yet here stood a man unscathed by fire, demonstrating that true power belongs solely to Allah. The miraculous preservation of Ibrahim became a turning point not only in his confrontation with Nimrod, but also in the understanding of all who bore witness to the event. This story is not only one of miraculous intervention, but also of moral and spiritual lessons. Nimrod's arrogance serves as a warning against pride and the belief that human authority can stand above divine will. His insistence on being worshipped reveals the dangers of unchecked power and the corruption that comes when rulers prioritize themselves above justice and morality. In contrast, Ibrahim's unwavering faith exemplifies the virtues of patience, courage, and trust in Allah. His steadfastness in the face of overwhelming threats provides a model for believers, and a reminder that faith can triumph over even the greatest worldly powers. As you listen to this story, consider the immense courage it took for Ibrahim to confront a king whose influence extended across an entire nation. He faced not just physical danger, but the weight of societal pressure, the fear instilled in the people, and the reality that one misstep could mean death. Yet his resolve never wavered. and through his faith, he became an enduring symbol of virtue and valor. If you are enjoying this story, consider subscribing to Virtue and Valor, where we bring to life stories of faith, courage, and historical lessons in English. Every subscription supports the sharing of timeless tales that inspire reflection, learning, and engagement. The dialogue between Nimrod and Ibrahim is filled with tension and meaning. Each question posed by the king was a test of both the prophet's courage and his faith. Each answer from Ibrahim was deliberate and measured, reflecting a deep trust in Allah and a clear understanding of his mission. This exchange demonstrates that conflict is not always physical, but can also be intellectual and moral. The power of words, when grounded in faith, can challenge arrogance and bring about profound change in the hearts and minds of those who witness it. The preparation for the fire and Ibrahim's miraculous survival serve as the climax of the story. Each moment is filled with suspense and anticipation. The people watching could feel the heat of the flames, see the intensity of the king's power, and yet witness the calm and steadfastness of Ibrahim. As the fire blazed around him, his faith created a shield invisible to the eyes of men, but undeniable in its effects. The event became a clear demonstration that no matter how overwhelming human strength may appear, it is ultimately subservient to divine will. Midway through the story, it is worth pausing to reflect on the lessons contained within this encounter. The story encourages us to consider what we value most in life, the difference between worldly power and spiritual strength, the importance of standing for truth, even when faced with tremendous adversity. This is also a moment to remind viewers to engage with the channel by liking, subscribing, and commenting your thoughts on the story. These actions not only support virtue and valor, but also allow others to discover these important lessons and increase the likelihood that future stories will reach wider audiences. The aftermath of the confrontation highlights the enduring message of the narrative. Ibrahim continued to teach the people, guiding them toward monotheism, while Nimrod's reign, although powerful, eventually faded from memory, except as a cautionary tale. His life serves as a lesson that arrogance and pride may command temporary obedience, but cannot withstand truth and righteousness. The story of Nimrod and Ibrahim illustrates that the strength of faith surpasses even the greatest earthly power, and that virtue and courage are eternal qualities that inspire and guide across generations. Throughout the kingdom and among the people, there were those who observed the events and reflected deeply on what they had witnessed. The miraculous survival of Ibrahim instilled hope in some, fear in others, and a profound sense of wonder in all. Those who had previously feared speaking against Nimrod now saw that truth and faith could withstand even the most tyrannical power. This realization planted seeds that would influence the spiritual and moral direction of the people for generations, demonstrating the enduring impact of virtue and valor. As we continue to explore this story, consider how the lessons of courage, patience, and unwavering faith can apply in contemporary life. The story of Nimrod and Ibrahim is not confined to the past. It is a reflection on human behavior, leadership, humility, and the consequences of pride. By understanding the narrative, we can draw parallels to modern experiences of challenge, adversity, and standing for what is right. The channel, Virtue and Valor, exists to bring such lessons to light, and sharing your thoughts in the comments helps create a community where learning from history is both engaging and meaningful. Finally, as we reflect on the tale, remember to subscribe, like, and comment on this video. Your engagement helps ensure that stories of courage, faith, and historical lessons reach as many people as possible. Each story shared through Virtue and Valor contributes to a growing understanding of the importance of virtue and leadership, the value of steadfast faith, and the timeless relevance of moral courage. Nimrod may have believed himself invincible, yet the story reminds us all that true power and honor lie in humility, obedience to Allah, and the courage to stand for truth.